Deputy Chief Minister Munish Sisodia of Delhi government is in jail. Currently, the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Munish Sisodia, has been detained by Delhi police. Whatever the reason may be, before him, Health Minister of Delhi Government Satyendra Jain was taken into custody. Both have resigned from their ministerial post. It is not common to see a functioning minister of Indian state is taken into custody for whatever reason. Primary reason is, like it is in third world countries, there is no accountability in upper echelon of Indian politics and bureaucracy. There is reason to believe that ministers at both center and state level who are policy and decision makers do not have the will, neither are they intellectually competent to oversee steady and guaranteed availability of public services. Available reports suggest that every third member of the parliament has criminal record and every other one is semi-illiterate. Such substandard political leadership is simply incapable of delivering public services but adept in enriching themselves through misuse of power and authority. Ideally, a central government should be in support and encouragement of any regional government showing commitment to innovative public services. Instead, Aam Aadmi Party is being confronted with fierce resistance despite well-established record of AAP having accomplished improvements in several public sectors with special reference to education and healthcare. Question is why? To get to the bottom of this answer, we must understand the complexities of international power politics. Over the last 3 centuries, Western domination in world politics and economics was based primarily on the control over India. It was no accident that French, Dutch, Portuguese and even Denmark were competing with British to take control of India. None of these intruders came with large army. Instead, they took advantage of the internal contradiction of Indian princely states and raised army from within. Ultimately, British prevailed and extended control over the entire subcontinent with the help of Indian police, Indian bureaucracy and Indian army. Entire administrative structure that was established to protect the interest of British colony was handed over intact in 1947 as the transfer of power through a bill passed in the British Parliament called India Independence Act. During the midnight ceremony of 14th August 1947, British Viceroy was seen to congratulate Indian Dominion and invited the Dominion to join British Commonwealth through transfer of power. Here is an excerpt from his speech.
On this historic day, when India takes her place as a free and independent dominion in the British Commonwealth of Nations, I send you all my greetings and heartfelt wishes. Freedom-loving people everywhere will wish to share in your celebrations. For with this transfer of power, by consent, comes the fulfillment of a great democratic ideal, to which the British and Indian peoples alike are firmly dedicated. It is inspiring to think that all this has been achieved by means of peaceful change.
This means India to this day, nearly 8 decades after 1947, remains under the sphere of influence of Anglo-American West. Here, also, control over India come South Asia is through the local oligarchs, the revised edition of former kings and prince, their police, their bureaucracy and their army. This control is essential for West to dominate in world politics. Now, coming back to the subject of tussle between AAP and the central government, make no mistake, government at the center is not bothered about any given political party itself or what they say. Center might be deeply concerned about what the party is doing at the ground level. For instance, CPI-M declared itself to be deeply committed to establish rule of workers and peasants over Indian oligarchs. During 1950s and 1960s, Communist Party's influence was surging that alarmed the central government. As the leadership of the left party slowly but steadily declined and left leaders dutifully conformed to the dominance of oligarchic rules, and left parties never tried to shape human resource through innovative schooling. Neither did they undertake changes to improve healthcare for grassroots level, etc. Left leadership turned out to be outstanding mediocrity, to say the least. Such leadership could never make any difference even if allowed to operate for centuries. This explains why CPIM continued to rule in West Bengal for about 35 years and in Kerala even longer, because they did nothing more than paying lip service to their claim of protecting interests of workers and peasants. Their rule continued for more than 3 decades. Aam Aadmi Party formed government in Delhi in 2015 with overwhelming majority. In contrast with all other political parties, AAP aggressively introduced dramatic reforms in schooling in a matter of 2 to 3 years. To the public astonishment, they restored dilapidated infrastructure of government-owned primary and secondary schools to international standard. Not just the infrastructure, but also in terms of quality of teaching and academic performance of students has shown dramatic improvement, which never ever happened in the last 75 years. For the first time in 75 years since India's independence, a regional government allocated huge resources and gave India's children of underclass access to 5-star schooling, a scheme that any government of any developed country put into practice on a war footing. In several other areas, like introduction of government guaranteed students' loan, high-quality health care at low or no cost, free public transportation for women, doorstep delivery of government services to Delhi residents, engaging public participation in the improvement of city infrastructure, supply of water and electricity for low-income groups. They have worked out a detailed outline of installing a sports university and submitted to the central government for approval. Aam Aadmi Party has initiated and implemented well-thought-out and planned entrepreneurship development program starting from secondary school level to address chronic unemployment. These are very basic facilities that a pro-people government implements as prerequisite for overall national and inclusive growth. But in 75 years, these facilities remains either rudimentary or non-existent in the areas inhabited by people of low income group. Implementation of such well-planned programs are signs of superior quality visionary leadership, which is new in Indian political scenario. On the flip side, fierce resistance coming from central government, mainstream media, traditional political parties means improvement of the quality of life in India's underclass, who are about 80 to 90% of the population, is not in their list of first 500 priorities. Central government and traditional political parties prefer status quo for themselves because such politics help self-enrichment. Another relevant question is, why should the central government and other traditional parties not want reforms which Aam Aadmi Party is struggling to bring about, especially when such reforms in combination with 135 crore human resource may lead India to the position of a great power and glory. Is it because Indian leaders are intellectually too incompetent? Answer is not very likely. Or is it because for some reason Indian leaders are reluctant to explore India's real potential? Answer to this is also very unlikely. Or is it because there are external forces who do not want India to tap their real potential and become yet another competitor along with China and Russia? Answer to this is most likely. In other words, there are powerful external forces that do not want India to rise to the level where India becomes a competitor of USA and collective West. Interest of the West is being dutifully supervised by keeping India as it is, which means 5% Anglophonic Indians must dominate the social, political, and economic scene of India and run the administration in the interest of USA and collective West, and condition Indians to remain psychologically subservient to the West and eliminate the possibility of competition from India. When we see how USA and collective West is desperately trying to mobilize the world against Russia and China, because these two nations have successfully liberated their people from chronic underdevelopment and poverty without colonizing, forcefully dismembering, and physically crushing infrastructure of weaker countries. Similar treatment might be waiting for India if measures like Aam Aadmi Party is implemented at the ground level, to which Aam Aadmi Party seems to be committed to, which is also their source of trouble. Moreover, Aam Aadmi Party has openly declared that they want to make India number one. Such a declaration, in conjunction with their promising reforms in education and healthcare, might be alarming for USA and collective West. USA and collective West must be signaling their caretakers, the hordes of Indian Zelensky, to protect their economic and political interest, which was the understanding reached during the transfer of power and India's joining British dominion in the British Commonwealth that Mountbatten was talking about. It is for common people to ask a simple question: whether to remain soaked in mis- and disinformation of mainstream media and work against their own interest, or explore truth through power of knowledge and fight to protect the interest of common people. Answer to this question will decide whether to go all out and support Aam Aadmi Party or go all out to oppose Aam Aadmi Party. Choice is yours.
If you like what you see and hear, please subscribe and ring the bell.